And so the scientific community gave Julia Plant, who are in for a bad named Ape woman, to me summarizes her whole speech. Now, they're in the top from hyperphysis and hyperplasia. There's a rare disorder that gave her copious facial hair and a thick set jaw. Now, she was born in the Pacific coastal state of Sinaloa, and she left there and came when she was to America when she was 20, and she died at 26 from complications of childbirth and so on. But I think that I have a better understanding of what has caused her to look this way. Now, up to tonight, I had a discussion in the plaza with some guys. I'm saying that they're saying that Eve was a black woman, and she left Africa and moving up north to the winter to the temperate regions, and she became fairer. And so they're saying that Eve is a white woman. And I'm saying that she's neither yellow, red, white, nor black. Because initially, when God had created this world, He made humans. And you see, they don't have that great theological understanding to really figure out this thing. They believe that probably man was made for some whatever reason. But man was created according to the Bible a little lower than the angels. And the purpose was that they were supposed to replace Satan and the third of angels that were cast out of heaven. As such, without even eating of the tree of life. Adam was able to live to 932 years. Methuselah 952 or something like that. And his son or grandson lived longer than him, and he was the original. He should have lived longer, but when he looked at the development in the world and all the evil that came on because they sinned, the guilt and the unforgiving of himself and the whole worry, etc., killing of his son Abel, etc., wore him down. He died early, but he was supposed to live longest because he was the original man. He was created by God, and other things being equal, they were supposed to live forever and become angels. Now, the word Adam, I understand, means red, and it seems as if the soil that was used to make Adam was red. A kind of ruddy kind of complexion he had. They were tall and massive, like maybe 18 feet tall, and weighed maybe close to 1,000 pounds, either above or beneath, somewhere around there. And they were proportionate and they were strong. And so they created a natural fear in the animals, because say a tiger out here, so fierce, but this big giant, walking and thumping the ground, they're running. Plus the angels created a fear, and then they weren't maybe as fierce as they are today because of whatever humans have done to make them fierce. And so at Noah's time, you still had one race, because it's just one family that sort of survived the from the antediluvian world. But my special writer, she says that before the flood, humans were bent on practicing evil. Every day they got up, and for the long 500, 600, 700, 800 years, they were just bent on evil. They changed, they created poisonous trees, they created trees with thorns, they created dinosaurs, they did all kinds of stuff. They took God's life that He put on earth and they mixed it around and created some weird stuff. And with themselves, they started having sex with other of God's creation. So that even in Noah, there was some of that change. Because when Cain killed Abel and he went to one part of the earth, as the population grew, they met again. And those who were the descendants of Seth, they were giants, they were stalwarts. And these other ones, they started to decline. The Bible calls them sons of men. And those who came through Seth and who remained being giants were called the sons of God. And so the sons of God married the daughters of men, and the sons of men married the daughters of God. And so by Noah's time, because remember, Adam lived 932 years, and by Noah's time, people started to make only 500 years, so that whatever they were mixing into wasn't, it hadn't the capacity and the ability to live to 1,000 years. Maybe it lived up to maybe 100 years, maybe 200 years. And so because they went with these other creatures that weren't like humans, they could live up to 900, but more or less down, and they start coming down until our day we could only make, maybe 100, but God said 70. I don't know what's the animal, the non-humans that we're having relationships with. And although Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord and his sons grew up in a very godly home, yet they practiced the evil that were prevalent prior to the flood. Well, hey, you have Satan. He's the one that inspired the killing of Abel and all the evil that people practice, and he still was around, and so he got them and he started, perpetuating this evil that existed before. So that all these different races we have today, let me say the major ones: the yellow, the red, and the yellow, the black, and the white came after the flood. Now, it's not a genetic, it's not an environmental thing like how the person said that Eve went up north and the cold, and sure that me, black like this, if I gonna live up in the Arctic, I'll get fair. But still I'm black, I'm still an African descendant. A white would come down to the Caribbean, will look, like an Arab, look like a Mexican, but still they're white. That don't get down to the genes. I told these guys, your genes, their chromatids, and there are other aspects of the genes that are determining your eye color, your skin color, your height, your hair texture, the whole 9 yards. So that there's no way the environment can get into change that except you included something into the human race. And so since there was just Adam with one race, for us to have all these is something they did. And with her here looking like an ape, it's highly probable that she, her descendants or her ancestors had some kind of relationships, and you know what I believe, even like Neanderthals, they had relationship with whatever they did. Some look like the humans, some look like the animals, and some look in between. The ones in between went into the caves. Those who look like the animals went in the wild with the animals, and those who look like the humans were with humans. And would you believe that in the animals they'll be born one that look like humans, and you'll have to come and join with the humans, or like the Neanderthals born into the caves. And so with this lady here, she shows that somewhere along the line, somehow apes related to her strain of people, her family, and so on. And what could cause this a lot of times is inbreeding, marrying close relatives and so forth. Because even disease and other things that we have within us, certain weaknesses, etc., if you marry far apart, it doesn't dominate. But when you marry somebody close, whoops, these things show up. And this is probably what happened here. It mightn't be her, it might be a relative, a grandparent or a parent who married a close relative, and these two things that were kind of funny became dominant, and so you have this. And what I find though, I've seen people in Mexico with a lot of hair all over their body and just eyes and mouth kind of thing, look like real apes. And again, they might be related to her and to others that do the thing. Sometimes you see some people looking like they kind of like stoop down a little bit, and I never see them naked to see whether they have a tail, but they look almost like that. So I think this is what happened with Miss Pastrana here. I think that deep down in her relatives was this ape thing, and somehow the Missy married a close relative, and then it became dominant, and she looks like this. But way back then, as I was saying, that if many of them were born like this, then they would find community by themselves. Those who look like the parents would be one side, and those in between, you're going to go separate into a cave or something like that. So I think this explains how Miss Julia Pastrana looks this way, or at least I attempted to explain it. If you have a better explanation, I'd be delighted to hear it.